Hi everyone and welcome. We're going to be doing a mat workout today focused on the hips. We're going to open those hips up and we're going to start class by taking a baseline test, and then we'll do the same move at the end and we'll just see if we've made any progress today. So there's actually going to be two different options and I'll let you choose which one you want to do. You can either test yourself in a cross-legged seated position. Just notice what feels tight, what feels on, what feels off, etc. But do also switch your ankles around so you get a sense of that side. The other option is a squat. So you'll stand and then squat down, sending your tush to the floor. You can definitely come up on your heels and kind of have your shoulders inside your knees and just see where you're at today with that squat. So I'll give you another moment to take some mental pictures of what's going on in your body. And then we're gonna start sitting. So sit with your legs out long in front of you. You can support yourself like this if you need to. If sitting upright is really, really hard for your hamstrings, definitely feel free to support yourself. We're gonna do our hip mobility exercises. Drag your right heel in towards your sits bone, and then open that right knee out to the side, and then release that leg long, turn that leg back to neutral. So slide it in, open it out, slide it out, turn back to neutral, and just keep going. You can also do these laying down, which is nice to do maybe right before bed or right before you get out of bed in the morning. And then let's reverse the direction. So legs are gonna start long, turn that right leg open. Remember, we're opening from the hip. Drag that heel in, close that knee into neutral and slide it out long. This is much easier to do on a not sticky surface like a mat. So doing it on carpet is much, much better. And one more for that leg. All right, let's leave that leg still. Pull your left heel in towards you, open your knee out to the side, lengthen that leg out long, and then take the rotation out. Keep going. And as you're going about your business, notice if this turnout starts getting a little bit easier. Or notice if you get a little more turnout with each and every one. All right, let's reverse the direction. So now we're going to turn out first. Drag the heel in, close the knee in front of you, and reach it out long. Last time. Good, and then wiggle those legs out. All right, lay down on your back. Knees are bent, feet are on the floor, hands behind your head. Open those elbows up nice and wide, and then lift the elbows about half an inch or so off the floor. As you exhale, nod your chin to your chest, lengthen through the back of your neck, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up, looking down between your knees, and then slowly release down. And exhale, narrow through the rib cage, lengthen through the back of the neck, lift, and slowly release. Keep going. In a moment, we're going to add in some more leg work. Exhale it up. Inhale, release it down. Okay, on this next one, as you exhale and lift up, reach your right leg out long across the floor. If you can slide it, feel free to slide. If you're on a sticky surface like I am, you can just reach and hover above the floor. And then as you lower your head, neck, and shoulders down, bring your right foot back to position. Exhale up, lengthen the left leg. Bring it in. Keep going. Remember, the lifting of the head initiates from that movement of your head, nodding the chin towards your chest and also engaging through those upper abs. Let's add in a twist. So right shoulder up and over towards your left hip, reach your right leg long. Come down towards center right before your head touches the mat, up and over to the other side. Keep your head, neck, shoulders all in the same relationship with each other. You're just simply twisting from the torso. So your whole upper body sort of just twists in space. One more time to each side. And then rest your head, neck, and shoulders down. Bring your arms down on the mat by your side. Feet are on the floor, but keep them light. Imagine they're just floating on clouds. Exhale, rock your pelvis towards you. So it's all from the abdominal muscles. Then your feet can get a little heavier. Your legs can get involved. Roll up your spine into a bridge. Lift those hips up nice and high. Inhale at the top, and then exhale, slowly soften down through your collarbones, through the top of your sternum, middle of your sternum, lower sternum, all the way down your spine, one piece at a time. Again, your feet are just sitting on clouds. There's nothing to press against. Pull your belly button towards you, rock your pelvis towards you, and then your legs can begin to work as you go up. You're gonna roll up and down a few times just to wake up that spine and get some movement in it. Next time you're at the top of your bridge, stay. See if you can lift your hips up any higher and soften your shoulders down any lower. And then tilt your hips to just the right. Bring your hips back to center, tip your hips to the left, back to center, back to the right, back to the left. Always returning to that nice high bridge position. A few more times. Find center, roll down. Slower than ever before. Go into a total arch. So you're really making those hip creases where your leg and torso meets. You're making those hip creases nice and deep. Feet are light on the floor. Exhale, rock your pelvis towards you, roll it up. Hips high, shoulders heavy. Now, keep your nice high bridge. Lift your right leg up to a tabletop position and then release it down. Keep those hips high. Lift your left leg up. Release it down. So we're flexing and extending at the hips. That means when your feet are on the floor, I don't want any crease in those hips. There should be open and soft and wide. As you bring your knee up, you deepen that hip crease. So we're flexing the left leg and extending the left leg at the hip joint. As you start getting tired, your hips are going to want to start drooping down towards the floor. Keep them high. 2 more rounds. Now next time both feet are on the floor, roll down your spine. Slower than you did on the last one. Find your neutral spine. So that's when your tailbone is heavy, your low back is light. So you're not you're not tucked towards you and you're not arcing your pelvis away from you. You're somewhere kind of in the center. Take your hands to your hip bones or to your low belly. We want to try to keep everything here stable. So no wiggling or wobbling side to side. Open your right knee out. And at some point, you're going to find that place where the leg can't go any further without bringing the left hip with it. So right before you hit that point, stop. And then use your right inner thigh muscles to bring that leg back up to neutral. All right, left leg, open it out. And close it. Keep going side to side. See if each time you switch, see if you can open that leg just like a hair more, like almost undetectable. Just challenging the stability of the pelvis with that rotation in the hip. Remember what this feels like, because we're in a moment, we're going to move to our legs up in the air. So we're going to have a lot of things to think about. So just remember what this feels like. And then lift one leg up to tabletop and then the next. We're going to tap the right foot down to the floor. But then as that right leg is lifting back up into position, rotate that knee open, tap the side of your foot into the floor. Bring that leg back up, take the rotation out. Tap your left foot, come up about halfway and then rotate open from the hip, tap the side of the left foot down, bring it up all the way, take the rotation out. So keep going and your hands are still on your hip bones to make sure we're not getting any wiggles or wobbles. This is going to be a lot of work for those lower abdominal muscles because they're supporting the weight of your legs. If you're feeling pretty sturdy, like your low belly muscles are doing their job and your pelvis isn't moving, you can take your arms up in the air. Just make it a little bit harder. One more time for each side. And then take your legs up. So your legs are in tabletop. Take your hands up in the air if they're not already there. Take both hands to the sides of your knees. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, extend out nice and long with your arms and your legs. Inhale, pull it in. Exhale, extend. Inhale in. Your spine is staying still. So nothing's changing in your low back, your mid back, or your neck. Couple more. If you're still up there, hold this one for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull your knees into your chest and rock your head side to side. All right, feet on the floor. Take your feet wide. Drop your left knee in towards your midline. So your left hip will lift up. We're not staying square anymore. You're gonna get a nice deep stretch in that left hip. If you can go further into the stretch, take your right foot on top of your knee and gently press that left knee down a little bit more. And then let that left knee come up. Right knee down towards your midline. Check out that stretch if you can go deeper into it. Left knee on top of the knee, left heel on top of the knee, and press it down. And then let that right knee come up. Feet are on the floor, they're still wide. Drop both knees to the right. And once again, your pelvis is not going to stay square to the floor anymore. It's tilted over towards the right. But I want you to reach that left hip back to the mat. Plant your pelvis down where it was before in that neutral spine position. Your legs will follow up behind. And drop your knees to the left. Reach back through that right hip. And drop the knees to the right. Keep going back and forth. Always returning to that neutral spine in the center for just a moment before you drop to the other side. The last one. Return to center and stay. Walk your feet in. Pick your right leg up and hold on to the back of it. And then reach that leg up high towards the ceiling. Try to straighten it. But if you can't straighten it, don't force it. We're stretching the hamstring, and you might even feel it in your calf right now. So just ease yourself into that stretch. You can tuck your pelvis so your low back can be in the ground. And just gently hug that leg closer towards you. And now flex your foot and press just the ball of the toes towards the ceiling, and then point your toes back to your back to your press, and then the flex. So there's 3 positions: flex, press, point, and we're just working through them. Trying to give that ankle some mobility. Meanwhile, the back of the leg gets its stretching. Spread your toes. And then the next time you're in that pressed position, so the middle position, circle your ankle. Try to keep your legs still. Reverse it. And then you can let that foot rest in center. Just gently pull your leg towards you a little bit more. And then bend your knee and shake it up. Okay, left leg's turn. Reach that left leg up high towards the ceiling. Try to straighten it if you can. We're just going to soften into the stretch before we start the footwork. All right, flex, press, point. Back to the press, back to the flex. Few more. All right, hold your next press position and circle that ankle. And reverse. And then hold that hamstring stretch for just one more moment. See if you can bring that left leg towards you anymore. And then bend your knee and wiggle it up. All right, arms to your side. Both legs up to a tabletop position, but then you're gonna glue your legs together. Crazy glued, they're not gonna move. They're this, just pretend you have one leg. Tilt your one leg over to the left. So your right hip will lift up. And then reach that right hip back to the mat to come back to center. And then tilt that one giant leg over to the right and pull it back to center. We're just rocking side to side, supporting the weight of those legs up in the air. And now tilt to one side, hold it there, straighten those legs up, and you can either point through your toes or flex or reach through your heels. The flex is going to be harder on your hamstrings. And then bend your knees, pull your legs back to center, tilt to the other side, and reach. Bend, pull back to center. On this next one, straighten your legs, keep them straight, and then reach that opposite hip back to the neutral spine. And then tilt to the other side, opposite hip pulls back to the floor. Come back to center. Plant that tailbone into the ground. Make sure those belly muscles are on. We're going to give them a break in just a moment. Lower both those legs down just a few inches. You don't want to feel your legs pulling your body away from the mat. And then hinge your legs back up. Lower. And lift. Even if you only go down half an inch, that's okay. Make sure your back is staying happy here. And last one. Fantastic. Pull your right knee into your chest, lengthen that left leg out nice and long on the floor. Connect your left heel to the ground, and then just keep reaching that left heel across your room as far as you can possibly try to reach. And then that right knee is going to pull in towards you as much as you can get it. And then hang out there and breathe. And now hug your right knee over towards your right shoulder, getting more of a hip stretch in there, an inner hip stretch. Keep that left leg active and reaching. And then take your right knee, hug it over towards your left shoulder. Try to keep your right shoulder on the mat. And so now we're getting a little bit more into the back of the right hip. We're also getting a gentle little twist through the spine. Come back to center. Hug that right knee into center one more time. And then let it go. Right leg is long on the floor. Pull your left knee in. And then hug your left knee over towards your left shoulder. And hug your left knee over towards your right shoulder. Shoulder heavy on the mat. Left knee back to center one more time. And then back that left leg up a little bit so you're not pulling it in with all your might anymore. Take your right hand to your left knee. Take your left hand to your left shin, the side of your shin. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Tuck your pelvis. So we're going to keep that low back on the ground. Bend your right knee. Pick that leg up and switch. I'm sorry, I said bend the right knee. I meant keep it straight and lift it. Anyway, we're going into single leg stretch. So one knee pulls in, one leg reaches long. And I want you to try to find that lengthening of the straight leg at the same time you're feeling the pulling in of the bent leg. Keep going. As those legs are moving, I want you to keep that low back on the floor. Head stays lifted by nodding the chin and keeping the length in the back of your neck. Couple more. Hold this one for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch and hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your hands behind your head. Shift forward a little bit so your tailbone gets heavier than your low back. Maintain that, more your neutral spine, and pedal your legs. So now your low back should be light on the floor or even a little bit off the floor. And reverse. Moving into crisscross, we're gonna take the right shoulder to the left knee, straighten the right leg long, and switch, switch. Keep going, elbows open. Hold this one for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch it, hold it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bonus round, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch it one more time, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees into your chest and turn your head side to side to release your neck. Hopefully your neck was okay, but it's always helpful to turn it side to side afterwards. All right. You have a couple choices here. So I'm gonna talk you through the exercise and then I'll start giving you the modifications. So left leg will be long. Right leg is gonna reach up high towards the ceiling. Point those right toes. We're not holding onto the leg this time though. We're gonna circle that leg down, out to the side, cross the midline and down. So leg circles. Modifications are you can have your left knee bent. Or you can even have your right knee bent and do the circles with your knee. So work at whatever level you're at today. The important thing here is keeping that pelvis still as the leg moves freely in the hip joint. Reverse the direction. And then bring that leg to center, flex through that foot, lower that leg all the way down. Okay, left leg's turn. So again, either of the knees can be bent if it makes it a little bit, I don't want to say easier, but I want you to maintain that position of the pelvis. So if you can't do that with your legs straight, make sure 1 or 2 of them are bent. Okay, leg up, square your hips, and circle. Reverse. And then bring that leg back to center, reach through the heel, lower that leg all the way down. Wiggle your legs in and out, in and out, in and out. And then roll to your side. All right, support your head with your bottom hand. We're gonna start with the knees bent. Hips are stacked, and then open your top knee towards the ceiling and release it down. And open and release. So as much as you can, open that knee without throwing your hip backwards. And now we're gonna build on this. This time, open your foot towards the ceiling so you get that inward rotation. Don't let the hip fall forward. Hip stays still the whole time. As your foot is coming down, lift your knee. And then knee to knee, foot to foot. So much rotation in that hip. In and out. All right, then we're gonna extend the legs a little bit. Just a little bit longer. And continue, you can go right into the combo clam. So knee up, and then foot up. And then the baby clam. So your knees are almost all the way straight. There's just a teeny tiny little bend. Open and open. Open the knees, open the feet. And last one. All right, now straighten your legs all the way. As you're straightening your legs all the way, you also want to lengthen them. So straightening and lengthening are two different things in my mind. Straightening means your knees are not bent, but the length is really more energetical and it's coming through the whole leg, reaching out towards the other side of the room. Lift your top leg up just to hip height for right now and lower down. Just to hip height and lower. And now turn that leg open. So we're externally rotating in the left hip, the top hip. Point your toes, open your leg. You could go higher than hip height now. And then flex your foot, come on down. Point your toes, lift. Flex your foot, lower. And you can experiment with how high up you can get that leg. What you're looking for though is that you're staying heavy in the hips and light in this bottom waist over here. You don't want to press that bottom waist into the floor anymore as the leg lifts. Two more. And come down. All right, take the rotation out so your legs are just both neutral. Lift just to hip height. Flex your foot, your top foot. Kick it forward, point, swing it back. Swing it back as far as you can go without letting your upper body move forward. So I'm just really over exaggerating that right now. See, that whole upper body needs to stay still as that leg swings from the hip. And then bring your top leg so it's hovering just over your bottom leg. Point your toes. Nice big circles. The biggest circle you can make, keeping your pelvis in place. So your hips are stacked and your lower waist is light. And of course, reverse the direction. And then bring this top leg back to hip height and pedal like you're riding on a bike. Reverse it. And then let that right leg rest for just a moment. We're going to take that top leg back up to about hip height, bend the knee behind you, so bringing your heel towards your tush, and then reach back and grab whatever you can reach. It could be your foot, your pants, your ankle. Before you do anything with your legs, flex the foot, and then gently pull that right knee back behind, the left knee back behind your right knee, as long as that's okay in your knee joint. So we're getting a stretch in the front of the left hip, maybe even into the left quads. And then release it. Roll to your back. Left ankle over your right knee. Pull that right knee towards you for the number 4 stretch. You could rock side to side. You can make circles. Move around so you get the best hip stretch possible. And wherever you feel that best stretch, hold it there and breathe. Take your hands out of the way and then collapse your left foot down to the floor on your right side. You can either just hold it here or pull that left knee more towards you, but go slow so you can really just get a sense of when it becomes too much. You don't want to strain anything. You want to just stretch. And then you can push that knee away from you, and that moves the stretch more into the inner hip. And then release. Roll over to your other side and we'll do it all again. Okay, so we're gonna start with the knees bent. Hips are stacked. Open your knee. We're gonna do just a couple of the externally rotated clams first. Just to get that hip joint warmed up. All right, now you can add in the reverse. So foot opens towards the ceiling and then the knee. And then the foot. And the knee. And two more. All right, extend those legs a little bit. And open the knee, open the foot. All right, the baby clam, extend those legs almost all the way. Just a little itty bitty bend. And then open the knee and the foot. One more time. All right, straighten and lengthen those legs. You want your body to be in a nice long straight line, heavy in the hips, light in the waist. And then lift that top leg just to hip height for right now and lower it down. Lift it up just to hip height, lower down. All right, now, next time it's down, rotate that top leg open, point your toes, and then lift that leg up. You can go higher than hip height, flex the foot, press it down into the floor or into your other foot, whatever you touch. Point up, flex, reach it down, 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 down. And again, experiment with how high up you can bring that leg without shifting anything in the upper body. One more. Come down, take the rotation out, lift that leg back up just to hip height, flex your foot, swing your leg forward, point your toes, kick your leg back. Flex forward, point back. All right, then bring that top leg back in line over your bottom leg, point your toes, and you've got your circles. Reverse them. See if you can go just a teeny tiny bit bigger without moving in the hips, without losing your balance in your upper body. And then bring that leg to hip height and pedal your bike again. Reverse it. And then let that leg rest for just a moment. Bend that top knee, reaching your heel toward your tush. Grab a hold of it, your ankle, your foot, your pants. Flex your right foot, and then bring that leg behind you any amount. Oh my gosh, I keep falling over. So any amount. We're looking for a stretch in the front of the right hip, maybe in the front of the right leg. So we don't want any tension in that right knee joint. If you feel any tension, you should go ahead and just release it. It's not worth it to push through it today. And then release. Roll onto your belly. Rest your forehead on your hands. We're gonna work on the lower body mostly today, but we'll get a few extensions in before we come off our stomach. So before we begin lifting the legs, I wanna make sure your low back is safe and protected. So as you exhale, pull your belly button up towards your spine, press your hip creases into the floor. So that place right where your leg meets your torso, press it into the floor. Maintain that, then lift your right leg up. As you lower your right leg down, lift your left leg up. Lower and lift. See how high up you can lift that leg without shifting the weight in your pelvis or losing the position of your belly button and your hip creases. Maintain that nice and strong the whole time. Okay, whichever leg is up, keep it up. Take it out to the side, squeeze it back into center. Out to the side, back into center. Keep that leg long and keep it as high as you can get it without shifting the weight in your hips. Okay, bring that leg to center, point your toes, and you have about 10 circles in each direction. And whenever you're done, you can place that leg long on the floor. Lift your other leg up, lift it up as high as you can get it without shifting the weight in the hips. And then out to the side, back into center. And then bring that leg back into center, point your toes, and about 10 circles each direction. Now when you're done with all those circles, bring both legs to the floor, wiggle your legs, wiggle your pelvis, and then come back to center. Belly muscles pull in, hip creases press down into the floor. Maintain that as you lift your head, neck, shoulders, and arms up off the floor and lower back down. Head, neck, and shoulders up and down. Keep belly button pulling in towards the spine to protect that low back. If you'd like to add the legs, lift everything up and lower everything back down. Couple more times. And when you come down from this one, you can stay down. Press yourself back into a wide-kneed child's pose. So your knees are as wide as you can get them. And then sink down between your inner thighs. And let those hips stretch out. Another 3 or 4 breaths here, nice and slow. And then initiate with your belly button, pull it towards your spine, start stacking your spine up. You can slide your hands in to give you a little support. And spine stacks up, one vertebrae at a time, all the way to the top. Sit with your legs out to the left in a Z-sit position. And then take your right hand to the floor on your right side, your left hand to the floor in front of you. Okay, we're thinking about this left hip right now. I'm thinking about the left femur bone, the hip, everything right in here. Press the hip forward. And as you do so, you can twist your spine towards the right. So we're trying to open that left hip. And then press that hip back down towards the ground. And open that hip up. And press the hip back down towards the ground. As you're doing so, you could even twist towards the left a little bit. So we're getting lots of range through that hip, through the spine. A few more. Okay, last one on this side. And then switch your legs over. All right, right hip's turn. We're gonna press it forward, twist to the left, and then sink that hip back, twist towards the right a little bit. Two more. And rest. And I just remember we didn't do the number 4 stretch to the opposite side today. So we're going to do a different number 4 stretch. Sitting, take your right ankle, cross it over your left knee, and then have your hands behind you. And then you're going to walk your left foot and your hands closer towards each other. So your body's going to fold up in a little bit of a tighter V position. Good, and then wherever you can't get any closer, you're gonna just hold it there. If you wanna take this a little bit deeper, take your left arm, wrap it around your leg, and your right arm, wrap it around your leg, and then straighten your left leg out, sit up tall. You're really hugging that right knee in towards you. And then you can rock back and forth. And release. Let's go ahead and try that on the left leg too. And then we're gonna do our squat or our cross-legged sit and see if anything happened today. So take your left ankle, left ankle over your right knee. And then you wanna sort of just walk your body in towards your legs as much as you can. You wanna curl up a little bit. And you can either hold it here or take your arms around your leg like it's a baby. Lengthen your right leg out long and rock your leg back and forth. And just remember, try to sit up tall for these. And release. All right, so go back to whatever test you started with. Sitting cross-legged on the floor. Remember, try both ankles on top and see how that feels. Or stand up and squat down. Your heels can lift if they need to. And see if that squat has changed for you at all. Oh my gosh, I wasn't able to keep mine. I fell backwards. And sink into those hips if you're in the squat. So your homework before I see you again is these sort of mermaid hip stretches that we just did. I want you to try to do them, I don't know, once a day or so and see if that continues to help your hips loosen up. So I'll show it to you real quick one more time. You're sitting in a Z set and we're just pressing the hip forward, twisting through the spine, and then sinking the hip back. And you can keep adding a little more twist, a little more rotation as you go. And of course, do it to both sides. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure, and I will see you next time. Bye.